What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of
Inglorious Hasterts.
And we're going to go over the top 10 movies of the decade in no specific order. Are you ready to get this rundown going, brother?
No, because I just want to say hopefully everyone had a nice holiday there. Good Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and a good New Year's. We are on to 2020, another decade of our life down. Getting old. We're getting old.
I can't believe I'm over 30.
I'm not that old.
One more year. All right.
We're going to do this. Yeah. We're going to break down our top 10, we think, of the decade here in no specific order. We do have 4 movies in common. We're going to start with those 4, and then we're going to move on to the last 6 of each list here.
Let's get into it. Misconception. It's Inception by Christopher Nolan. I think it came out 2010 or 2011 to start off the decade. It was a very controversial ending. It was very thought-provoking and very edgy at the time. I think it's one of his best movies, and I think people were very puzzled by it. Inception.
Yeah, I think this was one of Nolan's best films. After the Dark Knight series and all that. And I also think, like you said, it was something different. It was mind-bending. It was new. It was fresh. It was original. And it left you hanging. The next movie we have in common here is Avengers: Infinity War.
I knew it.
Why, you ask? Well, because this was is a movie on a grand scale that's never been done before. We saw so many different, I guess you could say, movie franchises come together into one movie, and seeing how all those characters interact and how it sets up the next movie and how it comes together from all of those previous movies that came before it. A lot of people don't like superhero movies, but this one was great.
I told you. You'd die for that.
Another Christopher Nolan movie with my boy McConaughey in it. The visuals, I think, is what made this movie. It's never been done before. The story was okay, but I think the visual and the sound is just something to experience rather than see.
Yeah, it was a very cohesive movie, I thought. Bringing all the sound together, all the, like you said, the visuals, everything matching up went well and perfect. It also hit you hard. It hit you deep, and it makes you think, what's out there? What's in space?
I push people beyond what's expected of them. I believe that is an absolute necessity.
The next one on our list that we have in common is Whiplash. I thought this was a great movie all around. A good story about a drummer trying to make it into a orchestra band. I think the biggest part of this movie that made it so great was its sound. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I think the thing that made this movie amazing was how much you could do on such a small amount of a budget. And not only that, but the rhythm, the match the visuals in such a way that it really helped carry the story and beg the question, how far is too far for success?
There are 2 ways through life. The way of nature and the way of grace. You have to choose which one you'll follow.
We're alligator.
You'll be grown before that tree is tall.
It's another experience movie. You can't explain it.
It's kind of a visual experience. It wasn't.
Oh, I thought this was my part of my.
I'm just chiming in on what you're saying.
Go chime in.
To agree with you, I will say, you kind of the story's not really there. It's kind of all over the place, I feel like, but it is a visual experience.
Yeah, but not good enough to put on your list, so don't even talk about it,
It's
bro.
a good movie, but I wouldn't say it was one of the best of the decade.
It is. It's experience. You can't explain it. It's an emotional journey.
Old man.
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was 3 shy of $1 million a week.
Check it out. All right, Eric, what's your...
I have Wolf of Wall Street on mine. Martin Scorsese film starring Leo DiCaprio. I think you all know of it. Overall, it was just a great movie. I mean, it was a true story about Jordan Belfort. I think he did a good job of telling the story. Now, a lot of people weren't happy with this movie as far as it being very masculine and somewhat sexist. But overall, I thought it was a great telling of a movie and how a man can rise up to power and then lose it all.
Nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, Fugazi, it's fake.
Yeah, fugazi, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
My next one was Skyfall. Probably the best James Bond movie. It took it to the next level. It kind of drove away from the cheesiness and sexist view of James Bond and got to a more serious character study about the 007 that we love.
All right, moving on to Birdman. Birdman, in my opinion, may have been one of the best films of the decade. Why? Because of its cohesiveness. In that movie, it feels like there's not even a cut. The editing is so great. The way they put the movie together is awesome. The story was good. I mean, it was a story within a story. I could go on and on about Birdman, but I think the craziest thing about that movie is how it feels like there's not a single cut in that film.
Detective Loki.
Do you have children, Detective?
I'm gonna find your daughter.
Show me your hands right now! Huh?
You put those girls somewhere, Alex. No. I know you put those girls somewhere.
Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I think I got that pronunciation wrong, but forgive me. He's one of the best directors. He's coming up with Dune. He just did Blade Runner 2049. Anyways, Prisoners is a great, high suspenseful movie. I think it was based on true events. You know, it's obviously not 100% accurate, but it is a great movie. You got Jake Gyllenhaal, you got Hugh Jackman, you got... Who else is in that movie?
I can't remember his name. The main kid that they think took the kids.
Oh, that was
What's
from...
his name? He's also from There Will Be Blood.
I'll put it up on the screen. It'll be up on the screen.
Yeah, it's right here. Okay.
But anyways, Prisoners.
Next on my list is Grand Budapest Hotel. It is a Wes Anderson film starring Ralph Fiennes. Also plays Voldemort. I thought this movie was great. If you know Wes Anderson, he does a lot of unique framing and camera movement styles. I feel like this is one of his best films. That's why I think it makes the one of my best films of the decade, just because I think it was one of Wes Anderson's best movies he's made. My next one is The Revenant, another great movie with great cinematography. Yeah, it was a little long, and yeah, people were a little upset that there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but for a movie to make such an impact with that little bit of dialogue, that says something. I think Revenant makes my top film of the day.
I'm talking to you.
This is an experience. And if they ever replay it in IMAX, I recommend, you know what? If they ever replay it in IMAX and you're on your seat, like, do I want to go or not? I will buy your ticket for you, just so you can experience this. thinking to yourself, is this what heaven is like? And that's exactly what I would describe this movie to be like. Heaven.
If heaven is like being deaf because of the loudness of the theater, then yeah.
If the Holy Spirit is so loud that it deafens me, then let it fill me up with joy.
Blade Runner was good, but it wasn't that good.
It was amazing.
Hey,
it was a masterpiece, and I didn't even like the original Blade Runner that much.
All right, and before we get out of here,
what's your last movie?
My last movie is Get Out by Jordan Peele. That was, like I said, originality takes my opinion every time.
It trumps. It
sways
trumps everything.
It sways
else.
my opinion every time. Like, if you have an original movie, it's not a fucking adaptation. It's not a remake. It's not a superhero movie. I will sway towards those movies just to give them a chance. I gave this one a chance, and I loved it. The story was great. The acting was great. I mean, it made you think about some crazy shit. It really did. I can't wait to see what else he comes out with, although Us was kind of disappointing. Good. But I need to watch that for a second time.
You guys should watch Ricky Gervais's monologue from the Golden Globes. This is the only good thing that came out of that night.
Yeah, I think
and it was hilarious.
Anyways, all right, so those are our...
That's the decade.
I guess what? We had 8 subscribe.
You got to do your favorite dance move.
Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter.
Do your favorite dance move. Ready?
Go watch a movie from the last 10 years. See if things have changed. It's pretty crazy. Not doing that.
All right, see you guys. See you guys.